What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome to the Tug of More.
Guys, so glad that you're here, hanging out with us.
That's true.
My name's Trustin.
I'm Whitney.
We're just friends. We're just pals. We're just good old buddies. They get together.
That's right.
Every week and talk about the Tug of More.
Yep.
What is it, Whitney?
It's the tension and the struggle between where you are, but you know you're called to more. You know there's more that you want to achieve. You know there's greatness ahead of you, but right now you're just where you're at. And so that tension, that fight, that struggle, it's the tug of more.
It's the Tug of More. We all want to be better, but we are where we are today.
That's right.
Where do you wish you were better? You've probably got a couple places.
That's a big question.
What about you? Where do you wish you were better?
Oh man, everywhere. I wish I was more organized in my morning routine structure. I feel like I have added in that I go work out, do these things, and I'm doing okay, but I could do a lot better of having it all organized, trying to eat properly. That's one that I was just thinking about this week.
Yeah.
I wish I was better. What else?
Betterly organized. I'll tell you what you need to get organized.
What?
Your car.
Hey, it's good right now. Go look at it.
Yeah, right.
It is.
Ryan and Whitney's car is like jumping in a grandma's purse.
Yeah, that's true. You never know what you're going to find, and you never know what you're going to need. Therefore, that's why you can't clean it fully out, because you may need something that's in there.
You might need 6 curling irons.
You never know. I do have a pile of things to take to the dry cleaners that has been in my car for the last 3 days.
I used to take stuff to the dry cleaners. I don't do it anymore.
Why not?
I just iron it.
Yeah, but there's certain things you can't wash.
Well, yeah, but
these are the things. So as a girl,
but don't you just wash them in cold and then let them hang dry?
No, because it will ruin.
Well, I don't have any silky.
Right? I have a dress, a blazer, like some of those things that are like, ooh, you can't wash those. I don't think. I don't want to ruin it.
I wish. You know where I wish I was better?
Where?
I've got this chair in my bedroom. Y'all probably all have this chair. I have this chair in my bedroom that I put stuff on.
Yeah.
And during the week, that stuff turns into a pile of embarrassment.
Yeah.
It's a pile. You know, you wear a pair of pants for like 2 hours, and you're like, these pants aren't dirty.
So you just put it there.
I put it on the chair. And then, you know, you're like folding some T-shirts, but I don't want to go put them in the closet right now. Put them on the chair.
Yep.
I got a backpack. Put it on the chair. What am I going to wear this hat? Put it on the chair. And so I left the house this morning, and Rachel's like, hey, Trustin, your chair is out of control. I was like, yeah, I know, baby. I'm going to get to it.
I think we all have a chair. That's what I have in my car, is my chair.
So I wish I was better at getting my chair together. But really, I wish I was better at way bigger stuff than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
things.
wish I was farther along in my health,
Yeah.
in my finances, in the business and ministry that I lead. I wish I was farther along than I was.
Yeah.
Some days, you just don't feel like you don't make any progress.
Yeah. Some days I think when I look at where we are and how far ahead where I want to be is, it feels like daunting, overwhelming, and impossible. And then some days I look back and see how far we've come, and I'm like, wow, we've done so much. We've come so far. But there's other days I look back and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I've been doing the same thing for the last 3 years. And so then I get a little bit overwhelmed in the like, am I ever going to get where I want to be? That happens.
Is this just what life is? Life is just...
I told you the other day, this is 40.
Is that what it is?
I think we're in this is when people buy their red convertibles. This is when people leave their wife or their husband. This is the midlife crisis of life, I think, is when you get to the 40s and you go, oh, this is where we're at. This is what it is, right?
I guess.
I'm just saying, this is when people usually do all of those things.
Was my red Jeep a midlife crisis?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Was it?
No, I don't know. But that was 5 years ago.
I don't think it was. But no,
maybe.
I'm saying like...
I want a midlife crisis vehicle.
You do?
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. I think it would be
Buy
fun.
some New Balance shoes and a Corvette.
A New Balance? You're wearing New Balance shoes.
Oh, yeah, but not like these. I'm like the dad ones with the tall socks and the dad jeans.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Corvette guys drive.
It is? That's what they wear?
Yeah, there's like all these pictures out there on the internet of like Corvette shows of all the men dressed the exact same.
That's really funny.
Not on purpose.
Yeah. That's just the uniform that you accidentally sign up for. Yeah. No, yeah. Sometimes I think your day is just, you look at it and go, it's the same day every day. Remember that Groundhog Day movie?
Yeah. It's like I wake up, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom, you get dressed. I go to the gym, I come home, take a shower, I come to church, I work, I leave around 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever time I go home, I eat dinner, I put the kids to bed, me and Rachel watch a show or something, I go to sleep.
And then you do it all the same again.
That's just part of, let me just clarify something. That's okay, I can say this. We are in a fast. We are fasting.
Yes.
So, the Bible says don't be going around with your head all down and sad looking on your face, you're going to lose your blessing. I'm not trying to get any sympathy for a fast. All I'm trying to do is say sometimes when you're fasting, you're deprived. And so I feel like just a little bit this month, I'm about 20 days in, and I feel just a little bit like...
Womp womp.
Yeah, womp womp.
Yeah.
Sometimes days just feel a little womp womp.
Yeah, but that's life. I think.
What are we doing? Is this even a good episode? What are we even doing?
Yes, you're going. I'm waiting for you to lead us into where we're going.
Okay, so Whitney and I had a conversation the other day because she's stressed out.
Oh yeah, it's only me. No, I'll tell the truth.
When it rains, it pours. Was that the saying?
Yeah.
That like when one thing goes wrong, 8 other things in the same symphony of life start popping off.
It seems like they always say things happen in threes, like people die in threes, like chaos happens in threes.
Or 13s.
Or I think it's sometimes it's like that. And so like for me, last week, my son graduated from college.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a happy thing.
Yeah.
He's about to get married. My daughter has been struggling with some back pain that's been bothering her, and then she was getting her wisdom teeth out this week.
She looked like she got punched in the face by Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's
1983 Mike Tyson.
And it's all swollen and blue. It's very sad. But all of these things were like regularly scheduled program.
Tell
well,
about
not the back pain, not the back pain. And then last Wednesday, I'm like, my husband says, I don't know, I'm called a pest control company because there's like a line in all of a sudden there's a line in the wall, and I think maybe it's termites. Oh no. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a crack. Maybe it's this. Then the next morning before the people even come, I'm just in my room getting dressed, and the whole curtain rod falls out off the wall, and there's a giant hole in the wall. It is termites. So
Rachel and I went over there, and it looked like a hole. I'm talking a hole. You stick your head in it.
Yeah.
Hole in the wall, like back behind this hole.
It looks like Aaron threw me into the wall.
It looks like it's like there's a mummy buried back there. It looks like
it's crazy.
Who's the guy from the mummy?
Yeah. Mummy. I don't know.
I don't remember his name. Remember, he used to be real handsome. Brendan Fraser.
Yes, Brendan Fraser.
Looks
now
like
he played the whale movie.
Yeah. It looks like Brendan Fraser's back there.
Yes.
And it's all scary looking.
Yeah. And so that happens. Man, just all of these things all at once. And then the other
Then we got a call. We got a call from the dude who does our insurance for the church.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
Not
guy,
only is our premium, our like down payment premium you have to pay, way higher than normal.
Yeah, way.
Our monthly payment has doubled. Did I do it like you would do it?
Yeah, you did it. You did it fantastic. Yeah. So, what? Why? We didn't get our church building in a crash.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Exactly. We didn't have a car crash.
What happened? We haven't made any claims, but my insurance has doubled. It's just those kind of things.
Yeah. And so last week I was just like, I know God's good, and I know he is trustworthy, and I know that I can rely on him. But holy freaking crap, I'm really stressed out.
Yeah.
So I think last week I just had like a little moment of like, yeah, the waves of life sometimes they will take you out if you're not paying attention and willing to talk about it, I think.
So, sometimes in life, there's ups and there's downs.
Yeah.
There are seasons that feel like good and exciting and free and easy and like moving in the right direction. And then there's other seasons that feel a little bit like you got a rope tied to your foot walking through some mud. It feels a little bit, what's the word? Trudging.
Yeah.
Like you're a little trudging through some things. And can I just be real honest with you? That's natural.
Yeah.
That's natural. I used to think, man, I'm falling apart. I'm losing my edge. I don't have the power to get myself out of this thing.
Right.
God forgot about me.
Right.
No, there's ups and downs, man. It's cyclical. There's seasons, and sometimes there's just stuff popping off.
It's true. And I think that identifying those things for me last week when I got the phone call about, oh, here's what it is. Here's the termites. Of course, they're like from East Asia, and they're like ridiculous. Like they're something that is so hard to treat and all this stuff. And so I'm getting that bill along with the bills for like all the medical things and all of these pieces. And my brain is just like, and I just kind of left and went home. Like I couldn't even function in my brain anymore. And the next day you were like, hey, you good? Are you all right? And I was like,
yeah. When you get stressed, you go into this robo Robo Whitney.
Yeah, robot mode.
I'm fine.
Everything is fine.
I'm good. What?
We are good.
What's wrong? What? I'm good. What? I'm good.
Oh.
Oh, she's not.
You're not good, but
I'm gonna give you 30 minutes to come back and check in later.
And so, yeah, you were like, "Are you good?" And my old self, being fully honest, the reason I'm good, Robo Whitney, is because my old self was that. Yeah. I'm going to smile. I'm going to keep smiling. I'm going to figure out a way to fix it. I'm going to move forward, and I'm not going to talk about the emotional ebb and flow that's in me. But in my season of growth that I'm trying to learn, and some of the more that I've tugged into is saying, "Hey, God, I want to be a whole person, and I want to handle my stress better." And so I had to admit, no, I'm not good. And so I just told you, like, here's what's happening.
Yeah.
Here's what I feel.
Yeah.
And man, it sucks. But the good part was, I'm just a human. I'm just a person.
We only have so much emotion.
Yeah.
Like so much emotional bandwidth. And I think that we just get tapped at some point because you're talking about good things too. Your son's graduating and getting married, and you went and preached at a church. And then preached on Mother's Day. And so you had a lot of feelings in both directions.
In good and bad.
And I think that there's only so much like emotional bandwidth that we can navigate in every direction.
Yeah.
So it's not that the termites pushed you, and we need to not have like a meltdown. This is not like, oh my God, is Pastor Whitney okay? No, we're just friends, and we know we talk about what's going on in life. So don't worry, she's all right. This is not like Trustin's intervention moment. I'm gonna have Aaron and McKinley and Easton come in, and I'm saying you're
legitimately
fine.
Though. We had actual termites falling out of the wall onto the floor, and I just went and got the vacuum and swept it up, and later told my husband, "Aren't you proud of me? I didn't yell and freak out. I just vacuumed them up. They were dead ones, whatever. I don't know. It was weird, but that never happened before. But it's just life.
It's just life." And I think that we have to know when we're reaching the edge of a tipping point.
Yes.
Or else we blow up somewhere that we wish we hadn't blown up on.
No, because that's what
it's not Aaron's fault.
No, right.
That there's...
It's not his fault at all.
No, but when you've cried at your son's graduation, and you've been stressed at your daughter getting her teeth pulled out, and your mom's in town, and you're preaching on a Sunday, your emotions are so spread like jelly on too big a piece of bread that you lose it someplace.
No, it's good. And I think that
it's called self-awareness.
Yeah, no, for real. For me, what you said, you blow up, is what I used to always do. I used to just keep it until this moment that I just would over burnt chicken in the oven, over like the little stupid thing that didn't even matter, because I wasn't willing to share that I'm just a person, that I'm having an ebb and flow of life. And I think that one of the things I've learned in trying to tug into all that God has is that I have to admit that I'm just a person. I have to admit that I have feelings, that I'm a human. We used to say, oh, we're not a robot. But I think I had to learn more than I'm not a robot is that I'm a human. They're different things. Identifying, I'm allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to have emotions. That doesn't make me a dumb girl, which is what I used to also always think. But it just makes me a living, breathing human, and blessed enough to have all of these things happening in my life. Because I could just have nothing happening. You know, I could be living by myself and talking to nobody and have no great job. You know,
Listen, so if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're a driver. It's because you're motivated to get to the more that God has for you. And in those moments that the more feels like it's getting farther from where you at, it's really frustrating. But hey, you're just a human.
Yeah.
You're a person. Now, are you filled with God? Yes. Have you been filled with the Holy Spirit? Yes. Is God with you? Is he for you? Yes. Does he want to do exceedingly abundantly more than you could ask, think, or imagine? Yes. But that's in his timeline.
Right.
And I think we get frustrated because we don't understand the timeline, and we don't understand the hurdles that we have to jump over to get to the place that we want to go. And we just get frustrated with how long and hard and slow some things take sometimes.
Yeah. What do you feel like you have had to learn to do in order to recalibrate yourself in these moments?
Well, first, I had to admit that it's okay to feel feelings.
Yeah.
So I've talked on here before, and I've got a picture in my office of the movie Over the Top. And so it's a Stallone movie from the 80s where he's an arm wrestler, right? And in the movie, when he goes into arm wrestling, he has his hat on and he turns his hat backwards. And he explains that when I turn the hat backwards, I become a machine. And when I'm a machine, I can't be beaten. And that's a movie that I saw since I was a little kid. And
Yeah.
it like did something in my mentality. Like I very rarely wear a hat, but I switch into machine trusting.
Yeah.
And like you can only do that so many times until
Right.
you suffer adrenal fatigue and your body will no longer keep up with your will. And so I had to admit, this is how many years ago now? 3?
Yeah, more than that.
I do
probably
admit
4 years ago. Yeah.
I'm not a truck.
3, 4.
I am not something you can just pour diesel in and
Right.
it keeps moving. I am a person with feelings. I have emotional bandwidth.
Yeah.
I'm not doing good, so I have to learn to pull my foot out of the throttle and I have to slow down.
Well,
So
I
I think
think
that's the first piece.
Yeah.
Is to just admit, like, I'm on the verge of losing my junk. Mm-hmm. So let me tell the people around me, like there'll be certain days that we'll have a real long day or something at the church, and I'll get home and I'll tell Rach, I'll say, hey babe, I just need you to know I'm a little bit like spent today.
Yeah.
I'm still home. I'm still going to help cook dinner. I'm still going to put the kids to bed.
Yeah.
All the things. I just need you to know I'm a little bit like exacerbated.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit worn out.
No, it's good.
And so, and she'll do the same thing for me, and it helps us navigate each other with love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she knows, I don't say that very often.
No,
It's
right.
very rare, but when I do, she knows now is not the day
Right.
to confront Trustin on his chair that is covered with too many things.
Right.
Now's not the time.
No, I think
You
it's
know?
good because, life is an onion. Like we learn things as we go. When you first like talked about the over the top and learning not to like be a machine, it was more about rest. It was more about
Yes.
physical rest for yourself. But I think now this next layer has been learning, okay, there's also an emotional bandwidth. And I think so often people think, well, I just need a vacation. I just need a break. I just need to physically not be here. But there's a whole different level of understanding your emotional self-awareness that, I mean, emotional intelligence is kind of the thing that separates the men from the boys. You know,
Yeah.
like you have to be able to learn that. And I think that's like it's a next step level. That's sometimes harder to get to because it's emotional and it has feelings attached to it.
I was talking to my counselor. This is back in that season. And it was really weird. And I didn't even want to listen to what he was saying. But he talked about how as people, our central nervous system can only take so much inputs.
Yeah.
So
Stimuli.
much activity.
What's there? Yeah.
Yeah, stimulant.
Yeah.
And how we sometimes have to just realize when we are getting overloaded with good or bad.
Yeah.
Because I talked to him about how on a Sunday we were starting a series and I was really excited about it and prepared and amped up. And we had this theme song as the intro. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun. And so like, and the lights come on, I'm about to preach. And I felt myself for the very first time emotionally flood.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a panic attack. I don't know what it was all the way, but I felt like, yeah, my physical body start to shudder in itself.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't make me go. Mm-hmm. And so I started talking to him because it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And so thankfully in that moment, I just started the message and I said, hey guys, can I pray before I finish this message?
Yeah.
And I took 30 seconds to pray. And so he started teaching me these breathing techniques. No. No, he taught me no breathing techniques. He said, sometimes you just have to sit down and breathe. You just have to sit down.
Yeah.
And so what I find myself doing now, like if there's a Sunday that I'm about to preach and worship was just really intense.
Yeah.
And I'm singing and declaring and stomping and all the things. And then I'm about to go preach. I have to decompress the system. Mm-hmm. I don't have time. There's no beach.
Right.
I can't take a week off.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm in the moment, but my emotions are have too much energy coursing through
Yeah.
me. And so I have to take a breather.
A breath. Yeah, no, it's really good. I think that so often we get in, if you are a person who's like stepping into more, you are really someone that's striving for more. We get ourselves in moments that are, because we're pushing the boundaries, because we're pushing into more, we get ourselves stuck in these moments of like, oh crap, I feel all of my feelings all at once right this second. And if we don't have a strategy ahead of time and we don't recognize that we're a human, that's what causes some people, I think, to literally have to panic and run, to like totally shut down, to go into flight mode and just eject from the situation, the relationship, the conversation, the job, whatever it is. But recognizing, oh, I'm not a weenie and a loser because I have to take those breaths and take that break. But instead recognizing this is a part of the balance of being a human, it's a game changer. It helps us, I think, take the next right step.
Yeah.
What else do you think?
What? Ask me the question again.
What is the right strategy to allow ourselves to recalibrate? You said something to me that was really helpful in our conversation. So maybe that I'm trying to ask you a question to lead you where I want you to go.
Just tell me what to,
But I'm like, no, I'll just bring it up. Because I think for me, because of my faith, because of my trust in Jesus, I don't want to be weak, even though I know the verse that in my weakness, he is strong. I got that. But I still don't want my faith to be weak. So I'm okay with my self not being strong enough, but I don't want my faith to be tested. And you talked to me about the people in the Bible and how no, dude, they're the same way. They did the same thing.
They had to have been scared.
Right.
I've preached, I did a whole series on David and Goliath, just that one portion of scripture. I did like a 5-week, it's called Kill the Giant.
Yeah.
David had to be scared. It's not like David removed himself from reality and is now like a super god human.
Right.
No, dude, he's just a boy fighting a 9-foot tall, 9-inch giant. He had to be scared.
He had to have been running down the mountain going, holy crap, I hope, or down to the valley, whatever, saying, oh God, I trust you're going to show up, but also, holy crap, what am I doing?
And so I think that in those moments, there's probably a internal terror, but also a out-of-body faith.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I feel overwhelmed or mad or whatever, I have to just realize that both of those are a part of who I am. That like the out of body watching me, faith, doing what God's called me to do, just being faithful to keep showing up, smiling when I want to punch somebody. This out of body watching me is a part of who I am because God's with me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. But then I'm also in my flesh, and my flesh is scared or mad or afraid or tired or overwhelmed or upset. And
both can exist at once.
Joshua walking around the walls of Jericho had to have been nervous.
Right.
Man, I got the whole nation out here. Moses is dead.
Right.
They elected me the new leader. I don't really know if I know what I'm doing. I have no plan except walk around these walls. This is stupid.
Right.
And I can imagine that for 7 days, he's half the day praying and believing, and the other half thinking, I'm about to get killed. These people about to vote me out of office. I'm about to look like an idiot. That exists in all of us, right? Peter, remember Peter?
Yeah.
Peter's in the boat during the storm. Jesus says, Peter, come walk on the water. And he does. He's out walking on the water. He's making progress. He's doing the miraculous. And then he sees the wind and the waves.
Yeah.
And when he sees the wind and the waves, he starts to sink. And I think we tell the story of Peter like he is a loser. He's a human.
Yeah.
And when we see winds and waves, our faith gets shook. But Jesus so lovingly reached down, grabbed his hand. Guess what Peter had to do? Reach back.
Yeah.
He reached back and he was pulled out of the sinking situation. And he's back in the miraculous zone. And so to that question, I think that sometimes we got to just grab onto God.
Yeah.
We've got to just say like, God, I'm sinking.
Yeah.
Emotionally or whatever. I had to do it. We had Mother's Day, which was just a couple weeks ago. And I've been doing real good on my health journey. I don't call it my diet anymore because I'm not on a diet.
Right. You're just on a journey.
Well, I now have a diet.
Yeah, right.
Like we think that a diet is, I'm going to only eat these weird things to lose weight.
Yeah.
But no, a diet is just what you live on. How you eat. I've been diligent and doing a good job. Well, then Mother's Day comes along. And so we've had everybody come over to the house. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. And my mom brings the Texas sheet cake and the pound cake. And we've got all the ice creams. And I ate 4 tacos. And we have all this food. And I talked to Rachel about it because for 3 days I fell all the way off.
Yeah.
I fell all the way off. I probably ate 5,000 to 6,000 calories for 3 days in a row. I lost my mind. And I got nervous that like, dude, is this old Trustin?
Yeah.
Am I about to go back?
Am I about to go back to where
Am
I
I
used
about
to
to
be?
gain 50 pounds?
Yeah.
Am I about to lose the progress that I've made? And it started like freaking me out.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Rach about it. Did I talk to you about it?
Yeah.
So I talked to my wife and my friends about it, and I said, guys, hey, here's what happened. This is not who I am. It was just a fluke.
Right.
And maybe it's even a good thing. Maybe it's fine that every once in a while I can sit with my friends and I can eat too much. Maybe that's fine. But I'm saying I felt myself sinking.
Yeah.
And what I had to do is I had to reach out, and I had to say to my friends, and I had to say to God, hey, God, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
You declared victory for me over this addiction in my life. I'm not going to kill myself with food.
Yeah.
And you get out of the sinking situation.
No, it's super good. I think understanding that like other people, these stories in the Bible, they happen to help us. The Bible is there as a guide for us, and understanding, okay, these people went through the same thing, and they're still what we call heroes of the faith, and yet they still probably question some, and in their faith got a little shook every now and then, and that's okay. We're allowed to be human. We're allowed to have those moments, but yeah, we have to reach out. Otherwise, we'll get in a spiral of staying in that moment, that mode of lack of faith. I think one thing you just said that for me really struck was, you said, I was like, oh no, I'm going to go all the way back and lose all the progress.
Right.
And I think sometimes in moments of when your faith is shook, you know, hey, here's where I'm going, here's where I've been, here's the progress I've made. And you just get to these moments where you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up all the way back here. And it's like, no, you might just take one step back. It's not going to be 19 steps back. It's just going to take one step back. But if you'll reach out, God's going to pull you through to where you're going on the other side. But I think for me, that's what happens in some of these moments where I get overwhelmed and stressed. I think, oh, is everything I worked for going to be lost? That's one of those things that will then wash over me. And I have to just realize he's brought me to where he's brought me, and he's going to keep taking me to where I'm going next. But I have to rely on him. And I think being willing to reach that out and do that it's a big deal.
So, what have we said? We've said that.
Tell the people around you.
Well, first we
Or
said
admit it.
realize that you're not a robot. You're a human. You're not a machine. Then learn to balance your emotions and understand that you have emotional bandwidth and that there's only so much jelly to spread around, right?
Yeah.
Then reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out to God. Reach out to community. What else? What else can we do when someone is feeling defeated, beat up, like they're not good enough?
Something you told me, which is going to sound counterintuitive at first, but I think it in the end helps. You said you need to write all this down. We need to write down everything that we're walking through. You need to write down the stories, the actual bad stories. You need to write down the insurance is doubling. You need to write this stuff down, because once it all comes to fruition, once God does what he's going to do, then we can look back and see how much he brought us through. And I think that we have to look back and see where he's taken care of us before. We have to look to the moments where in the past, maybe our faith was shook and he took care of it. And then being able to write down in this moment, hey, I'm just going to quantify all this. I'm just going to put it right here. You've told that story before, like when you told your counselor, I have 187 things to deal with. And then he made you list them out, and it was really 30 things or whatever. Quantifying, like, here's what I'm struggling and stressed about. Writing it down to me is something that actually... So I went back to my office and like started just jotting like little bullet points of some things. And it brought me peace to know that, one, it's not as terrible as I'm feeling like it is.
Right.
It's not as chaotic as it could be. But then two, I've been through similar things like this before.
This is not the first time.
And I've come out way better on the other side of it.
Yeah.
I can even see the fruit of my own personal growth or the growth of our ministry or the growth of my family, whatever, from these moments. And it allowed me to like, calm down. Oh, okay. I think sometimes you just feel like we can say intense sentences like, it's all just a disaster. Oh, it's all chaos. And if we can't just quantify what the actual chaos is.
Is it all chaos?
Right.
Is everything a
It just
disaster?
leaks, and we start
Or
feeling
is
like
it 5%
everywhere. Right.
of your
right.
life
Yeah.
is not going how you
Yeah.
want?
And then what you said too, like for me, my balance right now in this season of like high emotion is half of it is really positive, and half of it is negative, or maybe not even half.
Yeah.
70% is positive.
Yeah.
30% is negative.
And is it negative or just not what you wish it was?
Right.
Because negative is bad news bears.
Right. I mean, termites is negative.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. That's true.
But you're right. Yeah. 10% of it is negative, and 20% is just not what I want it to be. And when I was able to look at it like that, I'm like, oh, some of this emotional stuff is because of great things.
Yeah.
And being able to identify, oh, okay, some of what I'm feeling is actually because of the blessing in my life, of God's faithfulness in my life, and his goodness in my life. Oh, wait, I'm going to lose my junk over all of this goodness just because of a little bit of this stress. Wait a minute. It's all stress, but look at the positive versus the negative. And again, for me, because that's the way my brain thinks, when I'm able to quantify it like that, I'm like, oh, I should probably calm down a little bit. I should probably be really grateful for this good emotional heavy stuff, and then just trust and know these things aren't going the way I want them to. It's probably because he has a better plan than me anyway.
There's another word for all that.
Yeah.
Contentment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is just to learn to be a little bit content. I preached a message not too long ago, I think in a series called More Equals Less, where I did an illustration where I had a big box and I said, you're here. And then I had another box and said, but you want to be there.
Yeah.
You're so frustrated that you're here and you're not there and that you can't reach it, and I'm standing on the box, I'm about to fall off. And then I said, but what we have to do is we have to remember what God did back then.
There. Yeah.
It was a great illustration.
Yeah.
It was, I think of it, I mean, I preach because God gave it to me for me.
Right.
That when we can remember, I've been through this before. God's been faithful. It worked itself out. They figured it out, that we don't have to get so overwhelmed in here.
No, I think you're right. I think it's super good. What else is part of recognizing that it's okay to be human? Is there anything else that you've had to identify in the last few years about being human?
A lot.
Okay.
Comparison, for me, is the thing that makes me feel not enough. That I look at the social medias or the highlight reels or the sermon clips of other pastors, and I think that's who they are.
You allow their highlight reel to be the track record of what you think their whole life is.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm a real transparent communicator.
Yeah.
Or person, maybe I shouldn't just say
human. Yeah.
And so I assume that everybody is like that.
Right.
And so I assume everybody's just open with their feelings and what they're going through. And then when they never have any or never share any or never cry or never show weakness, I'm just like, oh, well, they're made of Teflon,
Steel,
and I'm just over here a Teletubby getting shot to death. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I've had to learn to not be comparing myself. We've talked about a trip that we took. Our two families took a missions trip. And we're over in another country, and we're at this pastor's conference, and we're preaching at it. And like, there's one of these guys that's at this conference that to me is one of those Teflon guys, one of those like indestructible, nothing sticks to him,
superheroes.
Guy. Yeah. But you live with somebody. We were there for how long? 8 days, 10 days.
Yeah.
And you start to see it.
Yeah.
You start to see the humanity.
Yeah.
And you start to see like the things in their marriage. You start to see him as a person,
how they handle social situations, all kinds of things.
And all of a sudden, I wouldn't trade my life for his.
Yeah.
But before this, he's better and stronger.
All the pedestals.
Dude, it's a great word.
Yeah.
Every pedestal. But then you spend a couple days with somebody and you realize,
oh wait,
they're not what I imagined that they were.
You realize you are the one that put them on the pedestal. And that's not really ever where they belonged. Yeah.
And so
really good.
that's easy for me to do. And when I do that, then I feel not enough.
Yeah.
I think that I don't want to say this.
What? Well, you're gonna.
I know, but it's just, it's messy because it's so real and so local.
Oh, Okay.
They opened a Life Church campus.
Oh.
Right down the
Yeah.
street. Like, I drive by it every day.
Yeah.
Life Church is doing great things.
Yeah. Right.
Craig Rochelle is
Probably one of
the greatest leaders.
Yeah, of our generation, but of all the generations.
They're the largest
church in America.
maybe in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they're reporting all their, I mean, on a
Yeah.
Sunday, they'll have 100,000
Yeah.
attendees across 50 campuses or something.
Something like that.
We bought land and all the things had been here 8 years. And like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're in a school for 10
5
months
minutes,
or 12
yeah, I
months
don't
or
know.
years or something. And then now they buy acres
Yeah.
and they get their building built and they're in and they're having 5 services before we can even break ground and get a bill. And so like there's this comparison
Yeah.
that used to really grind me.
Yeah.
Because why can't I? He can. He puts his pants on one leg at a time. Why can't I? Well, I'm called to something different.
Yeah.
That's not what God called me to do. That's
Right.
not what God asked me to accomplish. If that's what God wanted me to do right now in this season of my life, and to not throw mud at it.
Right.
Because we can throw mud at it. Well, yeah, must be nice.
Right.
I don't know that dude's life.
Right.
Or
the way
any of
he
it.
carries, the stress,
Any of it.
all
Any
of
of it. And
Yeah.
and when we would just be satisfied with who we are and what God's called us to do and know that we're doing our very best every day,
Yeah.
that my applause comes from heaven, not from others or not from me. Yeah.
No, it's really good. I think
This is getting real deep, man. This is a serious one. I was just thought we were going to come
you
here.
always say, no, that'll be too deep. Let's not talk about that. No, let's go here. Let's do this lighter. You always say, let's do this lighter one. And then it's never
well, we
lighter.
were going to talk about forgiveness. I was like, I don't want to talk about no forgiveness today.
No, it's too heavy. But instead we'll talk
about
deep comparison and trauma.
What I'm saying is,
no, it's really good because we compare their highlight reel to termites falling out of the wall in our bedroom. And we're like, how come my life doesn't look like that? Well, because one, that is literally a highlight reel that two of the people in their production team made for them, so they could put it on the internet, so they could look amazing. That's not their life, and we get so. I think that for me is the humanness of it is like nobody else loses their crap like I lose my crap. Like there's nobody else that probably feels this flooded with all of these emotions. I'm sure they are a great leader that can handle all of the things. And if I can't just handle this little weight of these great things and this little bit of stressful things, what am I even going to do? How am I ever even going to get there and I have to recognize, we're all just human and nobody else is they're not sharing all of their meltdown with the world.
Right.
They're just maybe sharing it with their spouse or God or maybe a friend, but
or maybe they'll just all implode someday.
Yeah. I don't know. Right.
Like Jeremy Foster.
Yeah. Right. Who knows what will happen? Because
one trade. Thank God we're not running 10,000 people on a Sunday, but I've lost my whole family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, right.
And that's no shade. I'm not throwing shade. I'm saying
no, right.
Comparison shouldn't count.
It shouldn't.
We need to delete it from our brains.
Well, you did.
That
was a huge piece. I think that a lot of people aren't willing to take the step of. I haven't even fully done it to the level I should. Of you were like, I'm just going to unfollow a whole bunch of people because I can't currently handle it, which is its own admission of your humanity.
Right.
Because to me, that was my own pride issue of I'm fine. I can look at them. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
But I didn't yet at that moment when you were like, no, I'm doing it. I'm following them. I'm like, no, I don't want to do. But that's an admission of the humanity of I'm not strong enough to handle this. So I'm just going to
remove myself from the comparison.
Which is so healthy and good. But not what's easy.
So what do you need to do, friend?
It's really good.
We blame ourselves for not being where we want to be instead of just examining our emotions about why we're so upset about it.
Yeah.
Because the other piece with the comparison thing is the audience piece of are you upset things aren't going your way just because you wish other people thought you were doing better?
Yeah. Right.
Like termites in your wall, that's a problem. That's
Right.
Whitney is not like embarrassed. I mean, maybe she is, and then I called her out on the podcast.
No,
But,
it's
like,
I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, she's not
got in my house.
embarrassed about that. She's
Right.
not embarrassed about her daughter's
Has
teeth
your
getting
wisdom teeth
pulled
out. Right.
But there are things that we've went
Yeah,
through and have happened that we're just kind of like,
Oh man, I'm embarrassed.
I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. I wish this went better so that I looked better. And when you can stop caring so much about what you look like in front of people,
Yeah.
dude,
No,
the peace that it has brought me, my Ford Ranger, the peace that it's brought me, because I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
I used to so bad, but now,
Yeah.
yes, this car's $3,000, and I have a wife that loves me. I've lost 50 pounds. My church is healthy.
Right.
It gets me everywhere that I need to go.
Right.
But like that letting go of that care of opinions has been hard.
Well, I almost said it earlier, but then I was like, that's too deep. But now I'm like, well, we're already in deep.
Whoa.
Is the identification of why. Is like, why is this thing stressing you out? Like, go deep
it's good.
of like, why? What is there? Is there a deep, if there's a financial situation, is there a deep financial trauma in my life from childhood, from whatever, that it is bothering me so much because I haven't let go of what happened when I was 12 or whatever? But like, you have to do that, because why did comparison matter to you? Oh, because of some affirmation things that you walked through that you needed healing from. Like, why did the pride of, no, I've got it all under control matter so much to me? Because of some issues that I went through of needing to like, no, let me hide all of the chaos that's happening so that no one else will see it. And you have to go deep of the like, why are these things stressing me the junk out? Because if you don't identify that, it's really hard to put into place the things that are triggering the chaos, triggering the emotion.
Why does it matter so much?
Why does it matter so much? The reason you went all the way to the Ford Ranger is because you were willing to identify, why does it bother me to drive by Life Church every day? You were able to identify the deep reason why.
Right.
Not just, oh, he has a church and I have a church and his is bigger than mine. Not just that.
No, 100 things. Yeah.
But really go deep. And like, I think for me, the only reason why I've been able to like, didn't scream about the termites this time is because I had to go deep of like.
Well, you've already went.
Yeah,
deep
I've
and
had
done
to
that
go.
work.
Yeah, in those
about growing up in some like
chaos,
poverty.
seasons
situations.
and all the things of like. Why?
This doesn't mean I'm going to lose it all.
Right. Why would I freak out before? I had to go real deep into the quandary of our own past and life to go, why is this stressing me out so bad? And I know that's super deep, but I'm like, well, we already went there. So, but it wasn't just the comparison. It was why the comparison. It's not just the provision for my life. It's why that. It's not just the, worthiness of whatever the situation, or the affirmation, or the whatever it is for you, person listening. The deep why is what will get you to solve what you need to do to remain not chaotic. I don't know. That's what I think.
It's really good. You need to just listen to that 2 minutes again, because the why is it such a big deal?
Right.
Is probably a lot deeper than, well, I just want to do a good job.
Right.
I just want to get to the more that God has for me. There's a good and a bad side to everything.
The why of my emotional, like even the good of my family chaos right now, or like the good chaos, the busyness and the graduation and the wedding and all of that, is that I want for my kids a better emotional response from their parents than from their mom than I had from my parents, and there's like a deep why in that I have to evaluate, because otherwise I'm just going to become a crazy helicopter, over controlling, over obsessive mother-in-law that shows up at their house every day. I can't do that. Like, I sure want to, but I can't, you know? And if I didn't evaluate that deep why, then I'd be all spun up about the fact that he literally has 40 days left living in my house, or something like that.
I had a compliment for you.
Okay.
That I'm going to pay you.
Okay. I will try to receive.
But it's via somebody else.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of weird. Today I'm at the gym. This lady comes up to me. You know the lady who there's this lady who always be talking about the gym. She comes up to me, and Easton, your son's at the gym with me, and she says, "Who's Easton? Or who is this?" And I say, "Oh, this is Easton. He's does our creative and production. He's a friend of mine." Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Whitney's son." And she goes, "Who?" I said, "You know, Pastor Whitney. You met Pastor Whitney with her blonde hair? Whitney." And she grabs Easton and looks at him, and she says, "This is her son?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "No, this is not her son."
Okay.
I said, "Yeah, this is her son." And she says, "How old is Whitney?" And I said, "Oh, Whitney's 40. And she looks at me with the most hatred in her face. And she says, "Well, I guess she just has good genetics." I'm 30. I'm 38.
Nuh-uh.
And I thought,
I did too.
she's got to be 50.
That's what I thought.
She's got to be 55.
Really? What?
So I didn't know what to do. So I was like, "What now? What? You look great." I'm like, I like pull my foot out of my mouth. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm paying you a compliment
really
via this other lady who might stab you in the parking lot.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know. Or at least slash my tires. No, that's good.
It just made me laugh.
That's really funny.
Because she was like, "I have a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just funny as
No.
I'm trying to explain. And then in her brain, she's like, "Wait, she's a pastor, but was a teen mom."
Yeah. How does that work?
And so I'm not going to try to get into this with this lady. Whitney was married for 1 minute and then got pregnant. And
Yeah,
so
that's real.
it's really by a month or something. And so dude,
That's really funny.
It was just really funny.
Well, no, but that's another like perfect example of like it could be easy to think. We all think things we don't know. We don't know the chaos. Okay, where are we
Anything else there?
I don't know.
We've got a meeting in 1 minute.
Oh, we do?
No, it's almost.
Oh, shoot.
We
Well,
got a
I
meeting
guess we
coming here
better
at
go.
4:30. Guys, we love y'all. We're so glad that you're part of the Tug team.
Yeah.
We hope that our conversations that are unscripted.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly, there's not like a whiteboard of like, now Trustin says this joke. This is
We
just.
tried that once and it was terrible.
Yeah.
And maybe this is terrible too. We don't know.
We
But-
just talk from our heart about
Yeah.
where we are, and we hope that our honesty is translating to
Yeah.
you. Because the truth about it is not everybody has a friend
Right.
they can have these kind of conversations. Not everybody has people in their life that they can
you
go
know-
deep like this with. And
That's
so
true.
our hope is
Yeah.
that we can be friends.
Yeah.
And that you guys can have a deep dialogue with us about stuff that maybe you don't have somebody else to kind of bat these ideas around with.
No, it's true. I mean, literally what you're saying. I'm like, that's the reason why we started it the way we did. We
Yeah.
were literally like, I wish other people could be a part of
Be in on the conversation.
the conversation of what we're trying to do, because we're just trying to get better. We're just trying to get to the more God has for us. Come crazy or chaos, whatever,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it. So
All right, we got a meeting to go to.
Okay.
These people are either going to leave the church or give us $1 million. I don't know.
we
which
don't know.
one's
We
gonna
don't
happen.
know. Love y'all.
See ya.